I'm not nervous to tell you guys these updates, but it's like closing one chapter. It's very sad. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kylie. If you're new here, I am 25, I'm engaged, and I make mainly lifestyle, travel, work week in my life videos. Not a lot of the travel videos right now because the pandemic, but I'm currently planning a wedding and you should definitely hit that subscribe button. It's one of the buttons down below, so you can stay tuned for all of those videos. Today's video, it's a life update video if you couldn't tell already by the title. And there's a lot of things that have been going on. There's gonna be a lot of big things, and I do have some wedding updates. I'm not nervous to tell you guys these updates, but some of these things, they're bittersweet and they're sad. Some of these things are happy, and some of them I'm just like closing one chapter and I have to just wait a little bit of time to get to the next chapter. Okay, so I'll just start with one of the updates. So the first update is I'm moving. So I am moving out of my apartment with Will, and I don't know if you guys could probably tell by now, but I've been staying not at my apartment pretty much for this whole quarantine, and I haven't really posted many videos. We have not really been at our apartment, and the whole reason why we had our apartment was because of our jobs and basically, you know, to have our place to stay and to commute to work and everything like that. I mean, I literally was a walk away from work. So we moved to the city, to DC, to be close to work. It was our dream apartment, and I am literally so sad that I have to leave, and it just saddens me so much, but we are moving out. Yeah, that's going to be very hard for us. I'm filming this and we're leaving like this weekend to go put a bunch of stuff in boxes. I realized I never did an apartment tour, so I'm going to do that, like a fully furnished apartment tour. I did one whenever everything was empty, so I still want to do that just to have like the memory of everything whenever it was like furnished. Like I said, that was my dream, our dream apartment, so stay tuned for that. But to get into why we're moving, so A, we haven't been staying there. B, we don't know when we're going back to work. We've been working remote since March. We've been paying rent for the apartment, which is kind of expensive, since March, and we haven't been living there. We don't know, like a lot of things are kind of unknown, and Will's family has a house in Virginia that we could stay at if we do need to return to the office, and we could commute. It is kind of a far commute, but if working remote goes fine, then maybe our jobs would let us work remote until we have a new living situation. And we've already okayed it with our bosses already, so they both know that we are getting rid of our apartment, and they are fully supportive of that, so they're both in the know, so it's completely fine. They both thought it was a smart situation regardless. If needed, we can stay in the Virginia house. We're currently in his family's Maryland house, and we've been very thankful that we've gotten the opportunity to stay here as well, to just kind of quarantine away from the city. It's very sad. We're putting all of our stuff in storage until we are moving on to this next chapter, which I'll touch base on. So the whole reason why we are moving is not just because of the pandemic, but we want to save money because we're getting married and we want to buy a house. We don't want to keep living in an apartment. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment. We have a dog. We're getting married next year, and eventually we want to like grow our family. We want to have kids, like later, not now, but so we want to get a house where we were running out of space in our one-bedroom apartment anyways. So we have a husky, and just the one-bedroom apartment was kind of small for just like us and our space requirements that we would like, and if we're living there and working there, we would just need more space to work and live. So yeah, we're saving for a house, and that's why we're also thankful and grateful to have the opportunity to stay with Will's family so that we can save for a house, which is crazy because I'm 25 and he's 24 and we're trying to get a house, but I guess we'll be like a year older than that when we maybe try to move into a house. But that's like half of everything that has been going on. Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy whole long process. That's gonna be hard. There's been so many memories. Friendsgiving last year with all of our friends, and that was so much fun. We've lived there for almost 2 years. And yeah, we did have to break our lease early, but it wasn't a like big ordeal. We had to give them a notice and stuff like that. So I'm gonna miss living there a lot. It was a great location. Highly recommend. Yeah, we're moving, saving for a house. And then I have a lot of wedding updates. We started planning the wedding before COVID started, like literally the month before. And the week before COVID started, I went wedding dress shopping, and then like everything happened, and we like visited a few venues before everything happened as well, and that's before we had a wedding planner. And then we got a wedding planner, and I was doing interviews for wedding planners pre-COVID, and we signed with one during COVID, like I guess at the beginning of COVID. So got a wedding planner pre-COVID, and we started to plan our wedding during COVID. And just to preface everything, Will and I got engaged a year ago, and from that point we knew we wanted a 2-year engagement. So thankfully, like, we weren't planning to get married this year, so like we haven't had to reschedule anything or anything like that. So we've been good on all of that. It's just like trying to plan a wedding during this has been kind of hectic, but with the help of our wedding planner, it has made things so much easier and like so much less stressful. So I highly recommend getting a wedding planner, even like if you're not planning a wedding during a pandemic. So, but anyways, so Will and I got a wedding planner, and we were looking at more venues, and we couldn't visit any of the venues because COVID. So that was getting frustrating, and obviously we understood that we couldn't go see them because they were closed, but months and months kept going by, and we were like kind of getting antsy because everyone started pushing back their fall weddings, and we wanted a fall wedding for 2021. So we were like, okay, should we just virtual tour places? What should we do? We needed to set a date. So in June, Will and I were finally able to tour our top 2 venues. So we had to eliminate some places because they were never going to open, and I guess we toured our top 3, but we had to eliminate some places because they A, weren't getting back to us because they were very short staffed, or B, they weren't going to open and we just couldn't consider them as a possibility. We ran into a lot of complications while trying to plan this wedding, and I mean, I really wouldn't consider it like we got the short end of the stick or anything like that. There's still like millions of options in DC to get married, or the surrounding DMV area. There are too many options in my opinion. So that's also why I felt like getting a wedding planner was so helpful, because when Will and I started looking, just us, there were so many options, and we were like, where do we even begin? So we narrowed down the list to 3. We set up 3 visits for venues, and we went and looked at 3 of them, and we narrowed it down to 2 out of the 3, and it was so hard. I'll tell you, it was so hard to pick between those two, but I don't want to give anything away because I will have a video coming out for my wedding series out of like how we picked like which one was for us. But it took us about a month to choose the venue, just with like the contract and negotiations and all of that. And then we finally said yes to the address in July, and that felt so good. It literally felt like a weight was lifted off our shoulders because we started looking in February. So it took us like 5 months, and it just felt so good to finally like have a date, know when we're getting married, and to finally like have the main thing figured out. And before then, we already had the band picked out and our photographer. We already had those contracts signed because we knew the date that we were getting married 99%, and we had holds on the venues that we were most interested in. How it kind of was working with COVID is our wedding planner would reach out to the venues and would kind of put a hold on the venues and secure the date basically, and if anyone else would reach out to them, they would give us first right of refusal. So we basically had the dates secured, but we just didn't have the contract signed. We already have the band and the photographer and the venue now. We have our engagement pictures lined up. We have to start working on that. I don't really know like what we're wearing or where we're taking them yet, so we have to figure all of those details out. Yeah, gotta do that. Will's mom was so excited to pick out the band. Like, I've never been to a wedding with a band. I also haven't been to many weddings, so there's also that. But apparently bands at weddings are like a huge thing, and Will's mom, that was like the #1 thing on her list. She's like, we have to get a band, and I was like, okay, I don't really care. So we got like a really good band apparently, and the photographer, I'm really excited. They're a couple and they actually live in Colorado, but they do work in DC. They used to live in DC, but then they moved to Colorado. So like they like have like 2 places they do photography. So it's really cool to see their portfolio. I'm super excited about everything. If you talk to me about the wedding, I will go on and on and on because I'm just so excited. And I'm so excited that we got the date that we wanted. I don't know, it just seems like a really good date to us. Wow, I feel like I've been talking forever, but I can't remember if there's anything else. I wrote down like a bunch of notes the other day of things that I just like wanted to say. If you have any questions about anything that I was talking about, you should definitely put them in the comments down below, because I definitely probably maybe missed something. I totally feel like I just like word vomited everything out there to you guys, but it feels great. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess all I can say is there are a lot of changes coming, and I'm really excited. I'm also kind of scared because I feel like I'm moving back in with my parents again, even though it's like my future parents-in-law, my future mother and father-in-law. Yeah, I'm gonna be living with my future in-laws. There we go. I'm gonna be living with my future in-laws, and yeah. So that's gonna be my life for like the next while. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't really say how long we're planning on doing that for. We're planning on doing that for like a while, until like a couple months before the wedding. That is in like September. So, oh yeah, I guess you would want to know when the wedding is, right? Like when the date is. Maybe I'll reveal that at a later time. I'll just give you the month now. September of 2021. That's when the wedding is. But anyways, this video is getting way too long, and love sharing my personal life with you guys. If you have any video suggestions, leave them down below as well, and make sure you do comment, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!